Hello, everyone. Welcome back to From Logic to Living. I don't know which day we're on right now. Anyway, spring is here, so I'm doing something wild. I'm coming live from the balcony, enjoying a little bit of sun outside here. For those of you who are new here, hello and welcome. I am Verena, and I help women reconnect to their inner wisdom and the strength and power that lives inside of them so they no longer have to give their power away. And I guide them from logic to intuition because this is the wisdom that we have really forgotten about and that we just don't utilize in our daily lives. Okay, so today I want to talk about the fear versus reality gap, or why I feel much calmer now than before making this decision. And I'm also going to keep myself short today because I have a new moon practice to get to. So if you haven't heard, today is new moon and it's a very special new moon. Um, I'm not very good at astrology, but I have, but I do follow it. And today there's a lot of initiation energy, yeah, coming to this planet. So it's a good time to initiate something new. So maybe that is something you want to do today. Anyway, so the fear versus reality gap. So I was actually thinking about, should I go all in my passion business, or should I do what, many people do, right? You just build it on the side and you build it up to a level until it feels safe for you to make the leap. And I did start building on the side, or rather experimenting, right? I think it was, I shared before, I started with women in tech coaching. Then I helped women in tech become freelancers because for me, yeah, being a freelancer was so much better than being employed in tech and being a woman in a tech role in some company. So that didn't feel aligned anymore. I had a newsletter. I developed coaching programs, I did events. So there was experiments, but you couldn't say I really built a functioning business, right? It was more experiments for myself and finding myself. And then, of course, I was thinking, okay, maybe I should just do two things at the same time until the new thing feels stable and, it provides me with enough income. And at the same time, I was feeling this pull to, go all in for one reason, of course, because I would have better focus. It would take a lot less time to build something that works. And also because I just felt the pull to do it and didn't want to wait anymore. So I decided to actually go all in. And I ended on my AI work end of last month. And the funny thing is, I feel much more calm around this decision now. So I'm not saying that, there is not also a certain amount of fear or uncomfortableness, but at least I'm feeling so calm and so happy with this decision. Like I wouldn't reword it for nothing. And before making that decision, it cost me so much energy because I was constantly looping in my head, is now the right time? Can I do it? Should I wait? Am I walking away too early? Should I not just, stay a little longer? Because like I shared before, the client I worked with, the team I worked with was all great. I worked only 3 days a week. I made more money than I did before in my full-time employment per month. So it was actually a really comfortable decision. It was a move purely based on desire. And this this is also something that was new to me because in the past, I always moved because of pain. I moved because something became unbearable, because something felt so misaligned that I just had to leave. And in this case, there was a pull to leave, but it was not unbearable pain or, like so much frustration that I couldn't have gone on for another couple of months. And this is really interesting to see that now I don't question that decision at all. I'm super calm in terms of that was the right decision for me at this point. This doesn't mean there is, uncertainty and maybe fear or some sort of pressure in terms of I want this to work, I want to make it work and all this, but at least I'm no longer debating whether this was the right or wrong decision. And why I'm bringing this up here is because oh, it's like the saying from Mark Twain, right? I think he says, I experienced so many bad things. Is it bad things or is it unfortunate things? Something like that. And then he says, fortunately, most of that was all in my head. And that's exactly what we do, right? We spend so much time in our heads mapping out worst case scenarios, feeling all the negative emotions, and we then keep looping in it instead of just making the decision, making a move, and then see how it actually feels and if that is really the case. And one thing that I like to use from my Amazon time is this, well, they call it two-way decision. I call it a revertible decision. And actually, almost all the decisions in our lives are revertible. Almost all of them, right? Having a baby is not one. Getting a divorce might be reversible, but depends on what your partner wants. Getting married certainly is. So, so many things can be changed. And yet we are so afraid to make a decision because we are so afraid that it's the wrong one. And this was also the same thing, like when I left my corporate job to become a freelancer. And this is also what I tell so many people today. If it doesn't work out or if you don't like it, you can always go back and find a job. I mean, I'm talking to people mainly. So right now they're still in a position where it's super easy to get a job if you're qualified in that field. So yeah. So sometimes it's really easier to just make the move, try it out, see how it feels, and then you can always go back. And one thing that I also like reminding myself of is this action brings clarity. So when we do something, when we actually try things on, we get so much more valuable information than if we just play it out in our head, because you cannot live life in your head. You just can't. And this also comes back to a discussion I was part of today in a mastermind. So, oh, my Wi-Fi is not so strong out here. But I'm back. Good. So this also comes back to a discussion that I was part of in a mastermind today. So I'm part of a mastermind, and today we talked about visibility and talking about the things that we're passionate about that really make us light up. And often when we become visible, this is also this pattern to overthink it, right? That you want to be 100% sure what you say is correct and that you don't change your mind and that people like it. And this is why so many people are held back from being super visible. And this is why, I'm making my life easy with this. I'm letting go of any perfection standards. I'm here without makeup on my phone, not the best background. And I think that's also okay, right? I mean, yes, maybe at some point this will change if, if I'm owning a huge brand and you get all the resources and I don't know, and maybe, yeah, if you got all the resources and maybe this will change, but I think what people forget is also if you become too perfect, you become unrelatable. And I find it really refreshing if people show up imperfect because it gives everyone else the permission to do the same. So just do it. Don't overcomplicate stuff. See how things feel, and then you can always, change your mind, change your decision. You don't have to stick with, one decision or one action. Yeah. And just a quick side note, talking about what lights me up, because I mean, I have basically changed my worldview completely. I've made a 180-degree shift on so many levels, and it feels so much better. I'm so glad I made this decision and I tried on a new way of living. And this is really what I'm super passionate about. I mean, my world has shifted so much. Doors to an existence that I didn't know existed were open. And this is what I want to do for other women because my life has become exponentially better and I know it will become even better. And I want this for other people too. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. I'll get to my new moon practice and I hope to see you back here tomorrow.